into the sea. Into the sea. Tap, tap, scritch. The tiny sea turtle is the last hatchling to break out of her leathery egg and crawl up the side of a sandy nest. She is not much bigger than a bottle cap and would make a good meal for a hungry seabird or crab. But at this moment, at dawn, the crabs are resting in a muddy burrows and the beach is quiet and empty. The turtle smells the sand and stares at the bright moonlight that glistens across the ocean. She rests a moment and then, like a wind-up toy, pulls herself quickly across the beach with her flippers. Always she heads straight for the silvery moonlight. Clack, click, clack. A crab pops out of its burrow and sees the dark moving shape. Just in time, the turtle reaches the edge of the water. A gentle wave splashes across her back and carries her into the sea. Instinctively, the turtle knows how to paddle with her flippers and dives beneath the surface. She is still swimming hard when the sun moves into the sky. Every few minutes, she comes up for a breath of air. Her eyesight is much better in the water. She sees a jellyfish, a starfish, and a barracuda with a big mouth. None of them see the turtle. Her white underside blends in with the shimmering white surface of the ocean. Slop. The turtle comes up for air in a patch of sargassum weed. A tiny crab and a water strider ride on the floating raft. Below, a sargassum fish uses the plant for camouflage. They all drift with the winds and the current while the weeds hide them from the sharp-eyed seabirds above and the hungry fish below. The little turtle floats around the clump for several months, eating tiny plants and animals called plankton. As the turtle grows, her shell grows with her and gets a little harder. She likes to dive into long streams of seaweed that grow on the ocean bottom. There are mussels and seahorses sift water for plankton to eat. When a strong current comes up, the seahorses grab onto the seaweeds with their tails, while the mussels hold onto rocks with thread-like feet. But the little turtle is not yet strong enough to swim against the current. She drifts away with the moving water. The turtle spends her first winter in a warm tropical sea full of brilliant colors. The creatures with big mouths. Like all sea turtles, she cannot pull her head and flippers into her shell for protection, but she finds many places to hide in coral reefs. When a butterfly fish swims in her direction, she darts under a ledge. This fish has a dark tail spot that looks just like an eye. The turtle watches closely to see which end is the front and which end is the back. By now, the turtle has been in the sea for over a year. She is as big as the seabirds and most of the fish. She has developed strong swimming muscles and swims 4 times faster than a human. The turtle has no teeth, but bites off pieces of seaweed with sharp ridges of her jaw. She spends 2 whole months eating her way through a rich, wavy garden of seagrass. After several more years, the turtle grows into one of the biggest creatures in the sea. Sharks, however, are still a danger. When one comes near her feeding area, she swims out into a warm current far away from the shallow ocean shelf. She crosses deep, deep water where sunlight cannot reach the bottom and seaweed cannot grow. There is not much to eat in the middle of the ocean, but she continues on her long journey, living on the extra fat in her body. Even a big turtle can get very tired. Sometimes she stops to sunbathe on the surface of the water. The sunlight discourages the barnacles and marine grasses from growing on her shell. She likes to float for hours in the midday sun. A remora with a special fin on its head attaches to her underside for a free ride. Then a tired brown booby flutters down to join them for the rest on the surface of the ocean. I don't think that's how you pronounce that word, but that's okay. Maybe it's Bobby. The turtle hears humpback whales singing in the ocean. She dives underwater and the bird flies away. She passes a humpback swimming in slow circles, blowing a ring of thick bubbles. Many small fish get caught in the swirling, whirling water of this bubble net. With a strong push of its fluke, the whale comes up through the middle and swallows hundreds of trapped minnows in one huge gulp. The turtle swims swiftly away, but the remora stays behind to catch a ride on the whale. At 300 pounds, the turtle is a fully grown adult. Soon eggs begin to form in her body, and she finds a current that seems familiar to her and follows it back across the ocean. The turtle swims deep under the water for the first 2 hours, but before she comes up to breathe, she swims below a fishing boat. Suddenly she finds herself trapped in a net. Each time she tries to swim away, her flippers scrape the sides of the net and almost get tangled in the woven ropes. She bumps into metal bars, clunk. Shrimp and small fish swim through the slots between the bars, but the turtle is much too big. She swims over them and finds an escape door at the bottom. Soon she is at the surface of the ocean, taking in big gulps of fresh air. After a rest, the turtle follows the same familiar current through the sea. She swims many hundreds of miles in the flow of the water. Finally, she crosses over the top of one ocean mountain and along the steep side of another. When she pops her head out of the water, she sees the top of the second mountain. It is a round island with a warm sandy beach. There are many other turtles just like her in the water. Some are male and some are female. A male swims up to her and nuzzles her head. He swims in front of her, touches her flippers, and gently nips her shoulder. They mate and fertilize her eggs. The male turtle swims out to the deep ocean, but she swims off in another direction. After more than 20 years in the sea, the turtle returns to the land. She waits until nighttime when the tide is high to come in. She is slow and awkward as she pulls her huge body up into the sandy beach. She does not see well on land. Tears stream down her cheeks as they do in the water to help her body get rid of extra salt from the sea. She pokes her nose into the sand. The turtle seems to know that she has come back to the same island where she was born. Slowly she drags herself across the beach. When she gets near a small bush, she stops to rest and then begins to dig a nest in the sand with her flippers. Thump, scrape, whoosh, wheeze. It is hard work as she scoops out a hole for her body and a deeper chamber for her eggs. Sand flies everywhere, covering her back and head. She works for 3 hours, laying over 100 eggs, and then covering them with sand. Once again, the turtle crosses the beach. Waves sweep the sand off her back and lift her into the water. Her huge body feels lighter, and she sees clearly again. She leaves the sandy nest behind her. If nothing destroys the eggs, her babies will hatch in 2 months. Perhaps 1 or 2 will get past the crabs and the seabirds, the fish and the fishing nets, and like their mother, will return to lay eggs on the same sandy beach before making their way back into the sea. The end.